Time. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 Clay County Planning and Zoning meeting. A few housekeeping rules, please. Tonight we will hear one case. We will begin with a report from the Planning and Zoning staff that will summarize the case prior to any discussion by the board. We will then ask the applicant to step forward to the podium to ask and answer any questions and present support for their application. We ask the applicant to begin by stating their name and address for the record, as these meetings are recorded. We will then ask for any public participation that may support the case being heard, and then anyone that may oppose the case being heard. Again, asking any participant to begin by stating their name and address, and please remember the topic of discussion needs to remain pertinent to the case being heard. The purpose of the Planning and Zoning Board is to hear the cases and make recommendations to Clay County Commission. Please confirm with Planning and Zoning staff if your case will or will not go before the Commission. Could we begin with a roll call, please?
Yes, Chairman. Mark Banks, Mike Brinkley, Larry Yateman.
Here.
Joanne Lawson.
Here.
Tom Decker. David Rodas.
Present.
And Tom Degenhart.
Yes. Here.
And Randall Morris.
Here. Could we have a motion to approve the minutes of our February 3rd, 2026 meeting as presented?
Motion to approve February 3rd, 2026 minutes as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Tom Degenhart.
Yes.
Joanne Lawson.
Yes.
Larry Yateman.
Yes.
David Rodas.
Abstain.
And Chairman Randall Morris.
Yes. The case we'll hear tonight is case number PZ 26-105. This is a request for rezoning from agricultural district to residential ranchette district with an agricultural land preservation overlay district for only proposed lots 2 and 3, and preliminary plat and final plat approval for the proposed subdivision Thomas Ridge Estates, located at approximately 19121 Thompson Road. The applicants are William and Jennifer Westfall. Could we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Chairman. Would like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
So I have one case for you, which is a rezoning preliminary and final plat. The property in question is outlined in the yellow above. It is currently unplatted, zoned agricultural, has access from Thompson Road to the west and northeast 192nd Street to the north, approximately 23 acres, and there is an existing home on the property. So the proposal is to break it into 3 lots. Lot 1 would have the existing house on it, and it would be 5 acres. Lots 2 and 3 do not have structures on them and are proposed to be just a hair over 9 acres. All 3 would be rezoned to residential ranchette. That is the county standard for lots that are from 5 to less than 10 acres. And so we're going to talk about the comprehensive plan. So this property is located in the agricultural land use tier. So if you see that red circle jumping in on the screen there, that is where it's located in the comp plan map. And this is in an agricultural area where the general rule is 20 acres per parcel. However, as part of that process of adopting the new plan, there was an exception table where there were exceptions for each land use category, and we'll go over that here in a minute. This land use district is to allow limited residential uses to coexist with the existing agriculture in that area, and it's to protect some of Clay County's agricultural heritage. So if we look at the exemption table, it's broken down by land use tier, and for this tier, as I stated, the main rule is 20 plus acres. However, there are 4 exceptions to that. One is a 5+ acre lot that is qualified as a farmstead dwelling, which is any lot that was, or any house that was built pre-1985. So if it has an old farm home on it, you can separate that on 5 acres. A lot of, the reason that exemption was put in, we got a lot of feedback from large property owners through that process that they wanted the ability to be able to divide off old farmsteads and still keep the rest of the acreage and farm the land. The next exception is a 5+ acre lot with 30% put in the agricultural land preservation if that lot is conveyed to a family member. And that is only allowed 1 parcel every 5 years. Third exception is if the lots are consistent with the half-mile radius, and we're going to talk about that more here in a minute. And then the last exception is the conservation district. That is only for interior streeted subdivision, so we're not using that exception tonight. But the 2 exceptions we are using is that 5+ acre lot right there that qualifies as a farmstead dwelling. As I stated, that home was built pre-1985, so they are allowed by the comprehensive plan to divide a 5 acre lot around that farmstead dwelling. The second one that we're using tonight is that subdivision of land that is consistent with the median lot size within a half-mile radius. So the thought when the comprehensive plan was adopted was that we should match what's surrounding, the lots that are proposed to be subdivided. In this case, we ran the half-mile radius, and the median lot size came out to 10.09 acres.
How much?
10.09. So per the comprehensive plan, to be consistent with the median lot size, you have to be within an acre. So they're proposing the 9.09 acres, so staff believes it's consistent. So we just talked about the comprehensive plan, then we also have to consider the land development code. So these are the rezoning criteria in the land development code. I'm not going to go over these individually, but I do want to hit a couple highlights. The first one talks about challenge of changing condition in the area or correcting an error or inconsistency. We're not correcting an error, but we believe this does match the changing condition in this area. We talked about how we felt it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. Third one talks about development that is compatible with the existing uses and zoning of nearby property. I'm going to show you that here in a map in a second. And then fourth one talks about adequate public facilities. The applicant reached out to all the public service providers and received no objection. Those included the water district, fire, health department for septic, and road and bridge for access. And then the last one talks about not having a significant adverse impact on other properties. With the existing house and creating 2 9-acre lots that would allow 1 house per parcel, staff does not believe this would create a significant adverse impact on the surrounding area. This is considered a minor development, which means planning and zoning is the decision-making body. So this will not go to county commission unless a valid appeal is submitted to the Planning and Zoning Department. There's a couple criteria that go with the minor development, very similar to the rezoning criteria, and staff believes those have been addressed. Here is the surrounding area. So there's our subject parcel. That is Lawson city limits to the east and Clinton County to the north. So you can see it's a mix. In this area, it's a mix of ag zoning. So the farther you go north, there's a lot of ag zoning, and east. But then we have these lots right across that are anywhere from 3 to 5 acres. And anything that's yellow or orange is anywhere from 3 to 5 to 10 acre lots. So I would expect as the county continues to develop, this will slowly go from agricultural to residential in certain areas. So we went through our normal public notice process. As of today, we have not received opposition to this case. We sent out 25 letters to adjacent property owners. And as I stated, the applicant received all their approvals from outside agencies. This includes the final plat, so there's a special section in the Land Development Code about the final plat. It basically says the final plat needs to match the preliminary plat, which staff believes this does. And staff is recommending approval with one condition. You'll see in your Exhibit A, it's one condition, but there's several changes to the plat, but those are all under the same condition. That being said, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and the applicant is present as well.
Does anyone on the board have any questions regarding the staff report?
I have one question. What about the septics on those lots?
So they were required to submit morphologies to the health department and also locate the existing septic system, and the health department approved all 3 lots.
Okay, and then I noticed that as I read the document, there was some concern about, there was some water, some creeks that went through, unnamed creeks that went through there.
Yes, there is a little bit of floodplain on the property, but the building sites would not be located in the floodplain.
What are they going to have? Are they going to have holding ponds or something sub?
You know, that's a good question for the applicant. I don't
Okay.
know that they've made it that far yet. The health department has just approved them for septics. I don't know that the specific type of septic has been
Oh, okay.
approved.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions? Thank you. Could the applicant please step forward? State your name and address, please.
Yep. Good evening. My name's Jennifer Westfall, and I'm here this evening requesting your approval for the separation of our land into 3 separate lots. We have received all of our approvals, as Kip had stated, regarding water and the road and bridges and the health department. With no discrepancies there from either department. I feel like this piece of land being separated into 3 is consistent with any of the adjoining properties around it. As you can see, there's Sunset Acres, which has recently been separated into probably, don't quote me, approximately 5 to 6 plots. So they're much smaller than the lots that we have. Lot 1 is roughly like 5 acres, and then lot 2 and 3 are approximately like 9.9 acres. So I feel like this will not affect any type of rural living lifestyle that's out there. And I feel like it also offers an opportunity to any young people that can't afford necessarily 20 acres, but perhaps could do, 9 acres or 5 acres. So lot 1 already has a home and a barn on it, which is consistent with the rural lifestyle, I believe. So, do you have any questions for me?
Anyone on the board have questions for the applicant? No? Okay, thank you.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
We'll open the meeting now to the floor. So we'll ask if there are any general questions of the applicant. After that, we'll ask if anyone has any comment in support of the application, and finally, to see if anyone has any opposition to the application. And please remember to state your name and address. Would anybody like to respond to any of the comments that the applicant has made?
Is this where I can speak?
Yes? Please state your name and address, please.
Damon Moorfield, 26203 Northeast 192nd Street. I'm just down the road here. Before I say what I came here to say, am I allowed to ask, ma'am, is your family who sold those plots in yellow? Was that your land that you owned? Okay. My concern would be that those plots, that piece of land got chopped into 10-acre plots, and then we got some cookie cutter homes that went in down to the paint. They all look exactly the same. And now their existence there is what is going to allow the half-mile exception rule, because those all just got chopped up into pieces. Now we're going to allow that. And then what about going east, heading down the road? Now that half mile is going to allow this lot 1, 2, and 3, then that big parcel next will allow it to get chopped and chopped and chopped until the land that we live on and love and work hard for becomes a suburb, which is the way that this is going to go if the exception is allowed to just keep moving in every which direction. That's what I came here to say. We spoke with our neighbors. There aren't a lot of us on that road, and that's kind of how we want to keep it. Nobody is for this. And it's not a bad thing, and I mean no offense to the family, ma'am, but we live there for a reason. And this is how it starts. Excuse me. This is how it begins. And we don't want to see where we live do that. And I especially wouldn't want to see an exception be taken advantage of to keep pushing these pieces of land getting chopped up. So that's all I wanted to say.
Now, where do you live from there?
If you were to go, this road on the north is 192nd Street, and if you go down, I don't know, a mile and a half, that's my house down there. I live there with my wife and 2 children. My wife grew up in the house that I bought from her father. Our people across the street, as a teacher at the school, we're all very community-oriented, and we live rural because we want to, and we want to keep it that way. If you go into Lawson, there's new developments popping up where people can live in a place like that if they want, but that's not what our little area is for. And I would hate to see it go that way, like I said, especially if we're using the exception to just keep using the exception, which is what will happen.
Now, how many acres do you have that you live on?
I have 10 because my house is older.
Oh, okay.
And I believe just towards this from me is a 30-acre plot of, it's all timber pretty much. From my house to this that they're talking about is just all timber. So it's perfect to just keep doing this all the way down the road.
Excuse me,
wanna see
did you
that.
say that you have a 10-acre?
I do, yes. My house is pre-85.
But you're objecting to somebody cutting their property into similar-sized lots?
That's right.
And you also said that nobody's in favor of that, but if I understood right, letters were sent out, but nobody wrote back?
Correct. We had some phone calls, but they did not express opposition. And just to clear up one thing, Sunset Acres was actually subdivided in the 70s. The lots just weren't sold until recently. So that precedent started in the 1970s.
Okay.
I didn't hear you clearly. Say that again.
So the Sunset Acres subdivision, which, if you don't mind taking a slide. Let me go back to that one map. So, let me change the color. That subdivision right there, all these yellow lots, there's like 8 of them in there. Those were subdivided in the 1970s.
Oh, okay.
And they just weren't sold until recently. That's why the homes weren't built on them.
Okay.
But those lots have existed that way since, I think it's 1973.
Wow.
So
Okay.
just wanted to make sure the board was aware of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
The person who divided those in 1973 did the same person who owned every single one of them and just did that so maybe later he could develop them? Or were they all owned in the 70s by 5 or 6 different people?
So John Graff subdivided that and owned all the lots.
All right. Would the applicant like to respond? Anything further you want to say? Yes. State your name again, please.
Jennifer Westfall.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I'd just like to state that if you go down 192nd 92nd, is that right? 96th Street there that he lives on. There are like probably 3 or 4 houses, and I'm not sure if they look to me probably they have 5 to 10 acres. So there's probably 4 or 5 of them right there that are subdivided that way. And also just a thought that I understand what he's saying. There are very large parcels of land surrounding to the north and to the east. One thing to consider too, you know, Lawson Schools is a very rural school, and, you know, to the west of 69 Highway, there's not very much development. It's really to the east, which I'm sure that they could use, you know, some additional funding as well for the school. Just a thought. And again, I feel like the lot sizes are not near as small as the Sunset Acres, which are, I think they were like 4, maybe the largest one was 5, but some of them were even smaller than 4 acres. So the way the land lays for these 3 acres, or these 3 lots, it's actually really pretty, and it would not affect where these homes sit, most likely will sit when people build. It's going to be very attractive and still be very rural in nature. So, thank you.
Okay, we're going to close the floor for comments. Any discussion by people on the board?
I just have a question for Kip. So if I read everything properly, the plan as submitted does not go against our comprehensive plan. Is that right?
Correct. Staff believes this is consistent and meets all the requirements in the comprehensive plan.
Okay, all right. And you know, I would say to you, sir, I'm with you. I get it. You know, we moved out, and when the gentleman that owned 70 acres behind us passed away, he wasn't cold in the ground before the kids were plotting it out and selling it off at 10-acre lots. And then you got motorcycles and shooting and all kinds of things that you didn't have before. But as the fact that this does fall perfectly into the comprehensive plan, you know, we have to go by it. If it were breaking it down into 3-acre lots, I'd fight it with a shotgun, but we really are kind of to a point where we have to accept it because it does meet our plan as it is.
Can I ask Kip a question?
Yes.
Hey, Kip, if I could ask you, so we have this land development code, and this is in the agricultural district where we say 20 acres. Why do we have that if we're just going to bust stuff down smaller and, like he says, use this as a stepping stone for the next property owner to justify 9 acres and so on, so forth? Why, you know, you state in some of this that it's designated as prime farming real estate by the USDA even. So why don't we do a better job of protecting ag land?
So some of the board members may remember, but when the comprehensive plan was adopted in last year, originally it did not have those exceptions. And then there was a large outcry from the public. So we received additional public input that the public wanted those exceptions. They wanted flexibility to be able to divide the land that they own. They felt that the county should not have those strict regulations where they can't divide their land if they chose to.
Well, I could probably agree with that too. So I kind of get it, you know, it's a two-edged sword.
It was, for better or worse, a compromise.
What's that?
It was, for better or worse, a compromise that was made between the initial plan and then in light of public comment, so that some limitations were placed on what could be done with the land, but some exceptions were included.
Well, I guess I would rather see it busted into 10-acre lots than 200 houses per 10 acres or something like that. So, you know, at least it's a little bit larger tract and kind of helps preserve a little of that rural feel.
The one thing I'll remember, I went to a lot of those the comp meetings when people could come and speak, and he made his presentation. There were a few that, but I didn't see huge groups of people saying no, 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 until after it was in effect. And then when those people came, I was here, and when they came to say they wanted, it wasn't really quite right, and you were holding up building and things, that the majority of the people who spoke were builders or developers or people that own huge tracts of land that bought it as something they wanted to break down later. But it was, one of those things, majority rules. So it was saying that, yeah, but hopefully we can hold it in line.
Okay, well, I would call for a motion to approve or deny the case being heard. We're going to need 3 motions, so we can take the rezoning, then the preliminary, and then the final plat. The final plat has to be a motion that includes the condition. Can I get a motion first for the rezoning?
I'll move to make a motion for rezoning.
I'll second.
Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. David Rotis,
Yes.
Tom Degenhardt,
Yes.
Larry Yateman,
Yes.
Joanne Lawson,
Yes.
and Chairman Randall Morris.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Could I please now get a motion regarding the preliminary plat?
I'll make a motion for preliminary plat would be approved with additions and exhibit
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
And a roll call vote, please?
David Rotis,
A. Yes.
Tom Degenhardt,
Yes.
Larry Yateman,
Yes.
Joanne Lawson,
Yes.
and Chairman Randall Morris.
Yes. And finally, could I get a motion for approval of the final plat with the condition laid out in Exhibit A?
Move to approve final plat with conditions set out in exhibit A.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please?
Yes. David Rotis,
Yes.
Tom Degenhardt,
Yes.
Larry Yateman,
Yes.
Joanne Lawson,
Yes.
and Chairman Randall Morris.
Yes.
Motion carries.
So, is there any other business?
Oh, yes. So if you guys see on your computer or near your computer, you have one of these reports. So these are detailing our building permit activity of the month. This is going to be something we are going to start giving to you guys at the beginning of, or I guess our planning and zoning commission meetings. Just kind of give you guys an update of what goes on throughout the months or previous months with planning and zoning. The other comment that I had was the Prideaux well water request that was heard by this commission last month was approved by county commission. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? All right, meeting's adjourned.
Yeah,
I know, but
I've been, one time I was in a 3-minute planning and zoning meeting in Oak Grove.